Millions of people are in lockdown this week, both in Victoria and Greater Sydney. Sydney's property market is being affected by the city's lockdown, with auction volumes dropping around 17%. Many sellers have withdrawn their properties from sale, at least until the lockdown is lifted. However, it is still possible to book one-on-one property inspections with real estate agents in the Sydney region. Now, despite the drop, around 660 homes went to auction last weekend, with a solid clearance rate of 76%. Joining me live now for more on this is CEO of the agency Australia, Matt Lahood. Matt, thank you so much for your time this Saturday. Firstly, I want to talk to you about what the major impacts of lockdowns are on cities like Sydney and Melbourne.
Sure, Sam. Thanks. A pleasure to be on, and thanks for having me on. And good evening to all your viewers. Quite interesting today out in the marketplace. Again, clearance rates in Sydney up around 78%. Melbourne also proving very resilient, around 73%. So, look, definitely having to pivot from the way we normally do business, but showing very strong resilience today.
Now, Matt, you have offices both in New South Wales and Victoria. What is the agency doing this time round, given it's lockdown 5 for cities like Melbourne?
Sure, Sam. So Melbourne, there are no inspections. That's a complete lockdown. No private viewings or anything. Just like in terms of if purchasers or tenants are moving in, we need to definitely help them get into their home, get a roof over their head. In Sydney, still by appointment only, and just with all the COVID safety rules are applying, a lot of common sense around how we're doing things as well. Just the QR codes, the sanitising, but still one-on-ones went through today right across our group.
Now, the New South Wales government has issued a moratorium on evictions and provided rebates for landlords, helping their tenants during the latest lockdowns. How does this impact the real estate industry?
Look, I think with the rescue package they've put in place, it's probably going to be a bit of a softer landing. Remember, sort of last time this happened, we didn't really have any rule book at all as to what was happening. So there's been a little bit of preempting of what was coming. And for us, it's a case of just looking after our landlords, our tenants, making sure that they're safe. We can negotiate what we need with them with the rules in place. So I think it's definitely going to probably just help the tenants and landlords get through this.
So what is happening in terms of open home inspections, and what are the new protocols?
Well, the new protocols are, in Sydney, obviously, we're still just by appointment only. So just one person at a time. Everyone needs to check in, obviously vacate the home for anybody else, social distancing, recording all the data, hand sanitising, masks, of course, all the way. And then just spacing the appointments out. So it's a simple thing as in terms of just being, again, as I said before, common sense, keeping people in their cars out the front and just literally one-on-one at a time.
Now, you mentioned the clearance rates earlier. How did they go in Sydney and Melbourne today?
Yeah, 78% around Sydney today, which was very surprising. I was quite surprised that happened. And Melbourne, with the snap lockdown, 73%. But the Melbourne agents are proving extremely resilient. They have had a lot of a practice run now at this, and we're learning a lot off them for sure. It's been helping our Sydney team navigate the path. This is obviously lockdown number 5, so they're very used to pivoting quickly.
Indeed. Now, Australian house prices are set to soar by as much as 16% this year, Matt, driven in particular by low interest rates. What impact do you think the latest lockdowns will have on the market?
Well, Sam, I liken it to a bit of a pause, right? So the buyers aren't going away. The sellers that are selling, the people that sold 6 weeks ago are still on the market now looking to buy. So there's plenty of buyers around. Don't forget we've had nearly 500,000 expats return to Australia since January. So I think the market is going to have a very strong spring, and this is just a pause in time. And don't forget, right now too, being winter and just off the back of school holidays, it's usually traditionally a bit quiet anyway at the moment. So I think there's going to be people ready to break out when they can and start going back and definitely purchasing.
Just lastly, Matt, and this is one for all of our pop culture fans out there. Run me through your thoughts on the new reality TV show Lux Listings Australia. I must admit, my partner and I, we binged it last weekend and we absolutely loved it.
Oh, no, look, it's definitely getting a lot of noise out there in the market. I unfortunately haven't had the chance to sit down and immerse myself in it all, but I will certainly say, Sam, anything that showcases Sydney and Australian real estate like it's doing, it could be only a good thing for Australia and the real estate industry. But I'll catch up with it if there's a little bit more lockdown time and I can get in front of it. I'll certainly be catching up to speed on it.
Indeed. CEO of the agency Australia, Matt Lahood, thank you for your time this Saturday night.
Thanks so much, Sam.